Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Before we get into the transfers, the game last night, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. What can I say? Very, very frustrating. However, in a way, we kind of got away with one as well. I mean, it wasn't a great performance by Arsenal, particularly the first half. I mean, Callum Chambers in the first half, absolutely all over the place. And who else, right, could it happen to in a game that you turn up to a massive game like Arsenal versus Liverpool and both of your centre-halves are missing? One through illness, one through an injury. Only Arsenal. When I was driving up there, just nearly reaching to the game, full of confidence, thinking to myself, I think we can take this 3-1. The announcement of the team comes over. No Koscielny, no Mertesacker. Typical of us. We just can't, stay injury-free, Arsenal. Callum Chambers and Gabriel came in. Gabriel, I thought, was excellent last night, particularly as hardly played. But I'm sorry, Callum Chambers, a young kid, still learning his trade, and it showed yesterday. He was absolutely all over the place. He looked uncomfortable. His positioning, everything about the first half performance was really, really bad for him. I was really surprised that he didn't get hooked at halftime. To be fair to him, he improved a lot in the second half. But first half, they could have been out of sight hadn't it have been for Petr Cech. Petr Cech pulling off a string of excellent saves. And in the second half, it was all Arsenal. And we could have won the game. Milner pulling off loads of good saves. So, to be fair, it was a very fair result, 0-0. You can't argue with it. But again, just highlights the fact that Arsenal at the moment just cannot hit the onion bag. They just can't score. What's the statistic? Last 6 games at home, haven't scored in 5 of them. That's unheard of for us. The way we're moving the formation around, I mean, why is Theo Walcott not starting? For me, he's a goal scorer. He should be starting. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, we're accommodating Ramsey over on the right. We've got no width. We've got no pace. It's just not Arsenal at the moment. And it was a really, really frustrating game yesterday at the Emirates Stadium. Entertaining game, by the way. Very entertaining game, but very frustrating. Before that game, we got the news from Karim Benzema. He posted the tweet that I'm sure everybody has seen right about now. That ends the Benzema Daily. And in that tweet, Benzema, pretty strong, actually, in his words. He says, for all those clowns who want to make believe things at my fans, here is my home. And that's the picture of him in a Real Madrid shirt, Real Madrid logos everywhere, thumbs up. Definitely sort of showing that he's going to be staying at Real Madrid. Although somebody was saying to me yesterday that doesn't necessarily mean that he's staying at Madrid. As that person said to me, he goes, if Ozil would have posted a tweet a couple of weeks before he went to Arsenal, he probably would have had a similar tweet. So the person seemed to suggest to me that it still ain't over, but I think it is. It looks to me like Benzema to Arsenal is completely dead, and that he won't be coming after all these weeks of pursuing him. It looks like he is going to be staying at Madrid. And I think when he's saying all these clowns, I think he's talking about people like the Venezuelan model, our friend Mr. Giolini, who's made all these bold quotes and planes arriving, medical. What about him now? He deserves some stick on Twitter because he's just got it horribly wrong. When you stake your whole reputation on something happening and it doesn't happen, I mean, he hasn't just said it's a rumor. He said this is definite. I have information, and now he's been made to look a real clown, and has even been called out by Karim Benzema. So forget Benzema. It's not Benzema. It's all about Daily. Edison Cavani now heavily linked. The 28-year-old heavily linked with a move. The Uruguayan. Of course, he only moved to PSG in 2013. Remember, when he moved to PSG, he cost them £55 million. One of the most expensive players in the world. At that time, Arsenal were interested in him when he was at Napoli. And he was, listen, definitely at that time, one of the best strikers around, if not the best, considered the best striker in the world. However, I don't know, Cavani's not been the same at PSG. I don't know if it's because they've sometimes played him out wide. Is it because Ibrahimovic has stolen his thunder? But hasn't really. He scored goals there. Don't get me wrong. He scored a lot of goals there, but it's still not been, 50, put it that way. And we're being told today that he's now the #1 target. I still look at, will Wenger spend a sort of money, which we don't know what sort of money PSG would want for him. There's suggestions of £35 million. Will Wenger spend that on a guy's 28? 29 next year, February. So there's going to be no resale value on him. And we know that Wenger normally likes that. As a fan, do we care? We don't really at the moment. We want, a top striker in. And he is a top striker. He would get us excited. Maybe not as much as Benzema, but I'd still be excited if Cavani came in. But it'd be a hard deal to do. Manchester United also need a striker. They'd also be interested. Bit like, reminds me of the Falcao situation last summer, and Falcao ended up going to Manchester United. But Wenger does have good connections with the owners of PSG, so gonna have to wait and see if that one happens. But again, not an easy deal to get over the line. Why have Arsenal left all of this so late? That is my question. That is the question. Also today being linked with another player plays in the French league, Layvin Kazua, left back. So again, we've been linked with so many left backs this summer. He plays for Monaco, 22 years of age, not really positioned for me that we need to fill. You could see, we've got left backs coming out of the years. They're good left backs. But anyway, he's been linked. PSG were apparently on the verge of signing him and have pulled out. Also interested, Bayern Munich, a host of clubs interested in this guy. Again, I can't see why we would need a left back. There is way more important positions that Arsenal need to fill. Linked as well, interestingly today, I don't know if it's on the back of Callum Chambers' performance last night, because I think that everybody knows, obviously, Koscielny, Mertesacker, they're the starting centre-backs. I think Gabriel, the way he played last night, and if he played quite a lot of games, I think he's got to be pushing for starting. I don't think there's any Arsenal fan that's unhappy with Gabriel. But you look at Callum Chambers, his recent games, even last season, we all remember when he got ripped up by Montero, looks like possibly a player that's not quite ready yet. When you're talking about a player stepping in, because you've got to be prepared to step in just like last night against the very best teams. So Arsenal being linked today with another centre-back, Virgil van Dijk. Seen this guy play, very good player, big, imposing, decent player. Plays for Celtic, of course, up there in Scotland. And despite the fact that a lot of press are suggesting that Southampton have already done a deal to bring Van Dijk to down there to the south coast at St Mary's, we're being told today that Arsenal are very interested in signing Van Dijk, and I don't think that would be a bad signing. I really don't. So Van Dijk being linked today with a move to the Gunners, and for me personally, I don't think that would be a bad move. I think we definitely could do with another centre back. Gregory Kovacic, again, linked. Everyone's going to get linked after a poor performance like that. He's been linked for a while now. We're still being told that Arsenal may move for him before the end of the window. £21 million is the price to get him from Sevilla. Defensive midfielder. By the way, I thought Coquelin last night played very well. Made a couple of vital tackles in that first half, and was one of the only players, I think, him and Cech, that could come out of that game and say, yeah, I had a good performance. Played very well, but we still need somebody else. You still think to yourself, if anything happens to Coquelin, we're in deep trouble, as we saw last night. So, when our centre-halves are missing. So Krajoviak for me would be a decent buy, or somebody. We need another defensive midfielder, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions. And finally, this player being linked with Arsenal, first time I've heard him being linked with Arsenal for the whole of a transfer window, is Alexander Kokorin. The Russian publication Gazeta said that Arsenal are very, very interested in bringing him in. He's a forward, predominantly sort of more of an attacking midfielder, but does play also as a forward. Plays for Dynamo Moscow, 24 years of age. Looking at his goal scoring record, 10 goals last season in 39 appearances. Doesn't really strike you as being prolific. You know, when you look at those sort of, you look at that, you know, you think to yourself, all right, it's okay. You know what I mean? But, yeah, so he's being linked with a move to Arsenal. Yeah, doesn't really get me too excited when I hear those sort of players being linked. We want to hear about players like Cavani. We want to hear about players at the highest level right now, not players that look to be worse than what we already have. So let's get into some of your comments. The Branny Boy 123 says, look, players like Berahino, and remember yesterday I asked you, what about Berahino? Would you accept Berahino at Arsenal? He says, look, players like Berahino and Wanyama are good players, but we want to win the league. We can't do it with just good players. We need world-class players like Benzema and Bender. We could even have a go at the Champions League with players like that. Am I wrong? I don't think you're wrong. I think you're very right there. John Hall says, okay, enough. Clearly Benzema is not leaving Real Madrid. It's time to move on. He's like he's telling me about an ex-girlfriend or something. I can only see Cavani coming in on loan, just like Wenger wanted to do with Falcao. John Atulio says, I don't think Berahino can fit with our game. Arsene Wenger likes centre forwards. He seems smaller than the type of centre forward that Arsene Wenger would like. What about Theo Walcott? And the killer says, if we can't get Benzema or Cavani, then it's time we get Leandro Damião. He's bang on form again. He's also gettable. He's in the right price range of about 30 to 35 million. I think we could get him. With a lack of quality strikers, this guy is still world class and suits Arsenal's style of play. Damn it. Hey. Good suggestion. We need somebody. We saw it last night. You only got to look at our home record recently and the lack of goals. I don't think that's only to do with strikers. I think that's got to do with all of a sudden the way we've just squeezed it so narrow. When we've got excellent wingers, we've got excellent pace down the flanks. I want to see Arsenal get that swagger back at home. At the moment, I don't know. There's something missing. Something that possibly the signing of somebody like Edison Cavani or somebody of that standard could definitely solve. Thanks for watching Transfer Daily today. We're going to be back tomorrow. Let me keep this quiet, yeah? I'm going away for a few days on a bit of a holiday, all right? Going to be on a bit of a holiday with the family, but the good news is still going to be doing Arsenal Transfer Daily. Keep it quiet. I haven't told the wife yet. But I'll still be doing AFTV Transfer Daily. We'll still be there. Probably be coming around about this sort of time each and every day. So still keep looking out for it. But we must improve before Saturday's game against Newcastle. That's going to be a tough game. Not off to a good start at Arsenal. Suggestions from some people, that's even a blessing in disguise, because if we would have flown off like what Manchester City done, maybe we wouldn't have bought anybody. We know what Arsene Wenger's like. But Wenger needs a change in philosophy now. Why, oh why, is everything lastminute.com? You go lastminute.com for holidays, not for players. Come on, Arsene, get a deal done.